This might be the most polarizing defensive prospect in the entire NFL draft. Some scouts see a future superstar, others see a player who's still raw, inconsistent, and risky. But here's the wild part. There are teams seriously considering taking him in the top 3. So today we're breaking down everything, from his high school dominance, to his recruiting rankings, to his rise at Ohio State, and whether teams like the Jets, Titans, or Giants should actually take the risk. This is worth the hype, and today we're talking about Arvell Reese. Arvell Reese's story starts in Cleveland, Ohio at Glenville High School. And if you know high school football, you know Glenville is basically a pipeline to Ohio State. He played under legendary coach Ted Ginn Sr., and this wasn't just another good team. This was a historic one. Reese helped Glenville to its first ever state championship, anchoring a dominant defense and establishing himself as a centerpiece of that unit. He wasn't just making plays, he was controlling games. Flying sideline to sideline, hitting with authority, reading plays like a veteran. By the end of his high school career, he had picked up major honors, including Division IV Defensive Player of the Year and even a finalist for the Buckeyes Award. But here's where things get interesting, because Arvell Reese wasn't a 5-star recruit. According to 247 Sports, he was ranked as the number 5 player in Ohio and the number 19 linebacker in the country. On3 had him in a similar range. A strong 4-star prospect, but not quite elite tier. So what does that tell us? Simple. Reese wasn't viewed as a finished product. He was a traits-based prospect, a player with high upside, but still needing development. And those are the players that always create the biggest debates. Because if they hit, they don't just become good, they become stars. When Reese got to Ohio State, his career didn't explode right away. In fact, his freshman season in 2023 was pretty quiet. He only appeared in 6 games and had a concussion that slowed down what little momentum he had. It was basically a developmental year, learning the system, adjusting to the speed of the college game. Then in 2024, things started to change. He recorded 43 tackles in a rotational role and was part of a national championship winning team. You could start to see the flashes. Not dominance yet, but flashes. Moments where you thought, okay, there it is. But 2025? That's where everything changed. Reese broke out in a big way, putting up 69 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, and 6.5 sacks. He became a consensus All-American, he won Big Ten Linebacker of the Year, and most importantly, he became the centerpiece of the defense. A huge part of that leap came from how Ohio State used him. Under defensive coordinator Matt Patricia, Reese wasn't just a linebacker anymore. He became a hybrid weapon, blitzing off the edge, dropping into coverage, attacking from different angles. He was playing what a lot of people call a joker role, and that's when his game really unlocked. So now let's talk about why NFL teams are so intrigued by him. First, the athleticism. At around 240 pounds, Reese moves like a safety. We're talking legit sideline to sideline speed, explosive bursts, and the kind of range that fits perfectly in today's NFL. Second, versatility. This is his biggest selling point. He can play off-ball linebacker, he can rush off the edge, he can drop into coverage. That kind of flexibility makes him a defensive coordinator's dream. Third, pass rush upside. Even though he's still developing, the flashes are already there. He can win with speed, bend, and explosiveness. And if that part of his game fully develops, you're looking at a player who can completely change an offense's game plan. And finally, his motor and mentality. He plays hard, he plays fast, and he always brings energy to the defense. But this is where the worth the hype conversation gets real, because Reese is far from a perfect prospect. First, consistency and instincts. There are times where he looks elite and other times where he disappears. His reaction timing can be a step late, and that leads to missed opportunities. Second, pass rush technique. Right now he wins mostly off athleticism. He doesn't have a deep bag of moves, and that's something NFL coaching will need to develop. And third, play strength. At times, he struggles at the point of attack, especially against stronger offensive linemen. Let's look at 3 teams that could realistically draft him, starting with the New York Jets. The Jets are building an aggressive, attacking defense, and they love explosive athletes. Reese fits that identity perfectly. He could come in immediately as a pass-rushing weapon and develop into a centerpiece defender. If they're betting on upside, this makes a ton of sense. I think Reese is worth the hype. Next, the Tennessee Titans. The Titans typically value physical, versatile defenders who can adapt to different roles. Reese gives them flexibility and speed, which they definitely need. But here's the question. Do they want a developmental player or somebody more polished and ready to go right now? I'm going to answer that question right now. Absolutely not. Not worth the hype. And finally, the New York Giants. The Giants run a multiple defensive front and love creative blitz packages. Reese would give them a ton of flexibility. You could use him as an edge rusher on passing downs, as an off-ball linebacker on early downs. But there's hesitation here. Some scouts have raised concerns about his consistency. So this definitely would be a high-risk, high-reward pick. But don't they already have a couple guys like Reese already? How many games has that won them? My verdict? Not worth the hype. So, is Arvell Reese worth the hype overall? The answer depends on what you're looking for. If you believe in development, if you trust your coaching staff, and if you want a player with superstar potential, then yes, he's absolutely worth it. But if you're looking for a safe, polished, plug-and-play defender, then this might not be your guy, because Reese is a definition of a ceiling pick. And Reese is a perfect example of how weak this draft class is. A developmental pick, top 5? Come on now. So now I want to hear from you. Is Arvell Reese worth a top 5 pick? Or is he being overhyped? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown and want more content like this, make sure you hit subscribe, because this is all about Saturday, and we're just getting started.